My name is Ben Booth. Welcome to Big Sky Voices.
And I'm Victor Wamette from Storyteller Films.
Tell us about our guest, Victor.
Our guest today is Tony DellaFlora. Tony is a well-known Albuquerque filmmaker. He started something called the Duke City Shootout years ago, which he called what did you call it? A film festival?
It was the filmmaking
festival.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Something that would be interesting to set us apart would be to make the films, not just show other people's films, but make them.
To make them at the festival.
At the festival. That would be make them and screen them at the festival. And everybody just kind of think, oh, that might be interesting. Let's think about that. So I won't go into the whole story of that, but we adopted that idea, and a few months later put out our first call for short scripts. And within less than a year from that first conversation, we put on our first film festival.
So how many films did you actually make at the film festival?
Well, the first year we made 10.
You made 10?
We made 10. We had no idea what we're doing.
What kind of time frame?
These were 10 to 12 minute films.
And how many days did you have to do it?
Okay, so first of all, we do a script contest, and we pick those 10 scripts out of several hundred that we received. And then we bring the filmmakers, directors to Albuquerque if they weren't already here. We had them coming from all over the country. And so we do a lot of pre-production. We set them up, we get them a crew, we get them equipment, et cetera, et cetera. Saturday morning at sunrise, they start out and they get to shoot. They shoot Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, wrap Tuesday, edit the rest of the week, and on the following Saturday night, we screen their films. And the first year it was at El Rey Theater downtown at 7th and Silver. We've done it at various locations, but that was the first one, and we got 9 films. The 10th film came in after the event was over.
Well, sort of like a precursor to the 48 film.
We beat the 48-hour film festival people by 6 months. That's why I say in our thing, we were the first filmmaking competition in the world that we are aware of, and 48 came along about 6 months later.
I was looking at your documentaries, and wow, you've got some beautiful work. I'm going to ask you a loaded question.
Sure.
I can tell you which one is my favorite already.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Okay.
But I want to ask you, which one was your favorite? Which one did you enjoy or get the most excitement at producing?
Okay. Well, I get something out of every one I've done, and I've been fortunate to be able to do several. But the first one was my favorite, called High Strange, New Mexico. And I did that with a buddy of mine. And
UFOs, right?
Well, it was more about the subculture. We had there's movie, you can turn on cable any day and you find some show about this UFO incident, that UFO incident, Roswell, whatever it is. We realized, me and my partner James Lujan at that time realized early on that we weren't interested in proving that they existed. We were curious about the people who either believed they did or didn't believe they did. We thought that was a much more interesting story. And we found, we did 80 hours of interviews over a couple of years to get that.
Wow.
And had a blast. We traveled all over New Mexico to interview people, and every time we would, they'd say, well, there's 2 more people you need to talk to.
Yeah,
so, I mean, we could still be shooting this thing.
Volcanoes of New Mexico.
Yeah.
Wow. It's spectacular. I thought I'd just do a quick look through. I was just hooked on that thing. It was such beautiful work, photography, the narration, even the music. Wow, you worked on that one.
That was one of the first productions I did with KNME, the public television station here for folks who don't know. Yeah. And that was a real step up in the level of technical expertise and everything. Those guys have been doing this forever.
Does that mean they gave you more money to work with?
Not a whole lot more money, but a lot of the costs. I didn't have to hire crew, for instance, so that was all covered. I mean, I basically was brought on and paid to be the producer for that project, so a lot of that was covered. But it was, just the technical ability of these guys, as you said, the photography. That was shot by a friend of mine named John Britt, who is one of the best photographers in the Southwest.
But you had so many on-site videos in rare and weird remote places. And I was thinking that had to take a lot of time to make all that happen.
Oh, it was months of shooting. Not every day, obviously, but
Right.
it was spread out. We got to go spend 3 days on our own in the Valle Grande, where much of that was shot. And they basically just gave us, there's an old Union 76 compound when they were doing some geothermal tests or something, and they built this little compound for the scientists. It's still open. You can go and stay there. So they gave us the key. We were told we can go anywhere in the Valle Grande. And
where's the
shoot
Valle
stuff.
Grande?
That's up near Jemez.
The Jemez, the big caldera.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what an absolute treat that was to be able. I mean, that's some of the most beautiful scenery in the entire Southwest.
Truly.
And we got free reign and just traveled all over for 3 days shooting up there.
I want to ask you and Richard something. It seems like a lot of the filmmakers we've talked to have said, we can make the films, but we don't have enough editing or post-production here. It seems that what I read about you, you're doing everything. You're doing production, editing, filming, the whole works. Is that right? Is that what you're reading as well as far as what?
Well, let's let Tony answer.
Yeah.
Depending on which project it is, I'm doing some combination of all those things. I wouldn't call myself an editor. I do some of the basic stuff. I'll lay out a basic timeline, but at Canemy and with the High Strange project, I had a real editor come in and help put those together.
You knew what you wanted it to look like.
Yeah, I lay out the basic story, and then I let them do all the really hard work, all the technical stuff, the color correction, all that stuff, and they help with the flow of the story and everything. But there's to have an experienced editor is an amazing thing, because to learn one of these systems, Final Cut or Avid or something, that can take half a lifetime to really master that stuff. I don't have time to do that.
You're involved with a production company now called Blue Sky Producers Lab,
Lab, right.
Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, that started, the idea for that started a couple years ago. I was doing, I do some video work for GovTV, the city's cable channel. And I've been covering the Innovate Albuquerque project, where they're trying to build entrepreneurs and high-tech stuff going on. And I kept hearing about all these incubators and different things, trying to get businesses started. And I thought, there needs to be something like that for New Mexico film, because I write scripts. I've tried to get them produced and stuff, and it's hard work. It's really hard work to know all the things you have to do to get something ready to get produced.
Yeah.
And so I started talking to some people, and they sort of liked the idea and said, yeah, this is probably something that's really valuable. And then I ran into an old buddy of mine, Ken Knoll, who's a producer who's worked in the industry in California, built his own studio in Sacramento. I mean, he's really got a background, he's got connections. And I talked to him about this, and he said, yeah, let's do this, let's set something up. So our idea was the Producers Lab is what we call a development company. We get everything ready up to pre-production or production. We're trying to package a project so it can be sold to be produced.
So that would mean you got the script, maybe you have some talent attached. Expound on that a little bit.
Yeah, you're going in the right direction there. First thing we do is, we work with the script. We make sure it's in the best possible shape that can be, and we've got some really experienced people working with us. Some of the partners had done this for a living. One of them in LA for many years. They know their stuff. So we work on the script, and that could be several months of just that. But we figure, you're going to get, if you get one chance to get this in front of a producer, you better have it done. You don't want your first, second, even third draft in front of them. You want something that's really singing. So we do that. As you said, when we can't attach a director, we attach actors, that kind of thing. We help you get a realistic budget. So when you go to somebody, you're and they can see that you've done your homework,
right?
And you're not just throwing a number out there, and that helps sell it too. And a few other things. There's other things you need. Contracts you need to get ready. Rights contracts. If you're planning to use obviously music or somebody's life story, all that legal stuff that's got to be done. We try to get that all packaged together, and then we take it to somebody who can distribute, finance it.
I see. Okay.
So.
But it's all done pretty much here in New Mexico, isn't it?
All our group is here. Our company is located here, and we are focused on New Mexico talent. Starting back with the film festival, with the shootout and stuff, I realize there's a lot of very talented writers here in the state. And we really wanted to give them a chance to get their stuff out there. And again, I know from personal experience, I've written several scripts. I've happened to get them in front of some people and everything, but it's a crapshoot. And, and I'm depending on other people to get these things produced. And I was thinking, you know what, I'm getting old. It's time that I kind of take the reins here and figure out how this works and help other people figure out how it works.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So what do you see now are the biggest obstacles, either for your projects in Blue Sky Producers Lab or in other local New Mexico producers in getting films actually made?
Right. Well, we've got three projects in development right now, which we've had for about 8 or 9 months at this point. Again, I think the reason I did this was because I always thought the missing link in the whole chain of making movies or TV shows was this development process. People didn't do enough of the work up front to get ready, because as you know, we've got plenty of talented people who can shoot a movie. We've got crew here, we've got very experienced people. They can knock out a movie, but I always say just because you can make a movie doesn't necessarily mean you should. And part of that again is getting a script whipped into shape, getting it in the best possible, telling the story in the best possible way, and hopefully doing it kind of budget-wise, budget conscious. So our idea is like, we want you to be able to do this again. We want you to this thing to make money, so you can go make a second movie or a third movie instead of doing it as a hobby all your life, which unfortunately a lot of people have to do here. So again, it's back to how do we do all the right stuff at the beginning of it, get everything in order so we can go get this thing distributed and financed. And that again, for as long as I've been making movies here, that seemed to be the missing part. Get all your ducks in a row ahead of time before you go out and start
If someone wanted to get in touch with you or make a movie or to get your advice or consulting or hire you to help, how would they get in touch with you?
Okay, well, our website is blueskyprolab.com, and we've also got a Facebook page, Blue Sky Producers Lab Facebook page. And they kind of serve two different purposes. Blue Sky, the Facebook page is if you just want to find out what we're doing. We link articles all the time about screenwriting, different aspects of the business, and kind of keep up on what's going on. If you have a script that you think we might be interested in, you go to our blueskyprolab.com website, and there's a registration process on there, and you can sign up, get your script to us, and we'll review it and let you know, if we're going to use that or take it in a development.
Let me say to the viewers too, you can look at his productions for free on that website. Just click on, and there's some beautiful work. I recommend you look at it. You're fantastic. I'm really impressed with your quality. Victor, how's our time?
I think we're about up, but Tony, it's a real pleasure having you here, and
sure.
I really look forward to a lot more people seeing your work. And
well, my work and everybody else's.
And everybody else's.
I got a lot of friends. I hope we can get their movies made and stuff.
Well, this is Big Sky Voices. You're a big voice in the skies of New Mexico. Thank you for being with us.
Tony
Thank you, Ben. I
thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
And Victor, thank you.
You're right.